Beards are not feminine. I shouldn't have to say that. I shouldn't have to start a video saying that. I shouldn't even have to do a video on this topic. Unfortunately, we live in current year, where this appears to be an actual narrative that people are running with. This is not a meme anymore. These people are deadly serious. So what has brought on this video in the first place? A couple of things happened on Twitter that I do want to address. So Sophia Norwitz, a games journalist, uncovered a other activist by the name of Secret Gamer Girl. Now, picture in your mind what a secret gamer girl might look like. Well, here it is. Yeah, so let's ignore the massive beard gut or the balding head. Check out that beard. That's a very... I can't even bloody joke about it. It's a bloody beard. It is not in any way feminine. This is just a fat guy with a long beard. And a lot of people called this out on Twitter, including myself. And you would think that that would really be the end of it. But then Lilith Lovett decided that she was going to comment on it as well, made a really good post saying about how beards are inherently masculine, and made another good point about how there seems to be this real appropriation of being trans, which is definitely a thing, and I'll comment on that in another video. But by saying that beards are masculine, she somehow ended up being brigaded by a lot of different woke activists saying that she was gatekeeping what it means to be trans, or gatekeeping what it means to be a woman, and that women have beards as well, big bushy beards. And this is somehow an actual narrative that has been coming out of the community. The dogpiling was ridiculous, and yet here we are. So for those who genuinely believe that a beard is indeed a feminine thing or can be a feminine thing, I guess I have to spell out to you why it isn't. Firstly, it should be really obvious, how many bearded women do you actually see outside of things like the circus? Now, men have historically, in all kinds of cultures around the world, are the ones who are known to be having beards. It's quite intrinsic to a lot of different societies. That is an idea of what a man is, and a woman does not have that. So you're not challenging the idea of what it means to be a woman if you've got a massive beard, because people are instantly just going to read you as a man. But then you have people saying, well, women can grow beards. You know, you see sometimes women who have various hormonal imbalances and they can grow beards. That is true. Sometimes women do have facial hair, and some do eventually grow a full-on beard. Doesn't make it feminine though, does it? In fact, this is an exception and not the rule. And if you're trying to compare a trans woman to a biological woman who can grow a beard, you've got to bear in mind that this is actually a false equivalence. So the difference between a biological woman and a trans woman with a beard is that everything else about the biological woman is generally going to be screaming woman at the rest of society. You know, they have the genetics that's needed. These are not normally people who are saying that they are men. These are people who are otherwise everyone would recognize as a woman. And the thing that makes them stand out is that they are a woman with a beard. When a trans woman with a beard stands out, people are seeing a man in a dress. They are not seeing a woman with a beard. It doesn't matter whether this is Alex Drummond or anything along those lines. When people look at Alex Drummond, they don't see a woman with a beard. It's a man in a dress. That's how society reads it. This is why if you get a woman with excessive facial hair, people aren't questioning the fact that she is a woman. What they are doing is thinking, it's a bit strange that a woman has that much facial hair. These are very different questions. But what's more, it isn't the place of a trans woman to try and redefine what it means to be a woman. We are starting out right from the bottom. Our basic biology fights against us in recognition of who we actually are. You've got to be realistic about that. Until you hit a certain point, society will always just read you as being a man. And if you're just deciding that you're fighting against it, all you're doing is you're drawing attention to yourself. You're making it obvious that you aren't really what you say that you are. And what's more, how are you not dysphoric about this? Facial hair is an awful, awful thing. It's the only thing you can feel more dysphoric about is actual genitals. How are you okay looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing a beard and saying, that's a woman, that's a woman's beard? I'm going to question that, because a lot of dysphoria is how you see yourself as well. Do you really look in the mirror and see a long beard and think that's a woman? Is that really a realistic demand on yourself, let alone society? I don't think so. And this is, in fact, something which goes on in the real world. The day before filming this, when I was at a clinic, there was a trans woman, an obvious trans woman, because there was a little bit of breast growth, but This person had a beard, and it wasn't just a little bit of stubble either. This was no way in covering this up. It was full on facial hair coming out. It was a beard. And the only reason why I was able to kind of think that is a trans woman is because of where I was. But otherwise, like deep voice, like long beardy hair, how is anyone going to see a woman when they see that? Being a woman is not ours to redefine. It's ours to try and fit as much as we possibly can. Having a beard is not fitting in with society's expectations. There's a lot that we need to work with. It's why we take things like hormones. It's why we have our surgeries. It's why we use things like makeup. Because there's this magical or a magical invention called the razor. That's handy. That can help get rid of beards. And then there's electrolysis. There are lasers. There are ways in which you can get rid of it. But just having it is not going to get you recognised as a woman. I am not going to recognise someone with a beard as being a woman. I'm not going to do that. Finally, it is an insult to transsexual women like myself who have gone through so much to be recognised as who we are by society, and we're never going to be recognised by everyone. I know that there's going to be a lot of people, some people even watching this who just think, nah, fuck that, you're a man. Like, you could go ahead and think that. I can think that you're a bit of a douche, but I've worked to get where I am. And then you're expecting to rock up with a full-on Gandalf and say, we're the same, exactly the same. No, you've not put any effort into your appearance. It's a 50-50 thing. The way that you see yourself and the way society sees you. How can you be happy with this? And to everyone saying it's gatekeeping, like, good, it is gatekeeping. There should be gatekeeping. I want to build a border wall about what it means to be trans. And that border is going to be tranned by lots of catgirls, trust me. But beards are an inherently masculine trait. They have never defined femininity in any society, and they probably never will. You need to work with what you've got. And being a woman is not yours to redefine. It is yours to fit as much as you possibly can. But am I wrong about this? Should we all accept trans women who just can't really be bothered putting in anything into their appearance? Like the likes of Danielle Moscato, Alex Drummond, that cool? That's what you want people to think of when you see trans women? Fine, but I'm going to move away from that. I'm going to start my own club instead. It's going to be much cooler. Well, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to like and subscribe and maybe support me on Patreon. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. And a special thank you to Kim, Sarah and the rest of my supporters on Patreon and Subscribestar.